shame I had to leave the stone garden behind. I feel so at home among the graves.
Be on your way now, my dear. Perhaps we'll have matters to discuss again later.
I'll be glad when we leave Reaper's Coast behind. There's too many of my former comrades roaming around there.
I've plenty of fighters for hire, experts in blades, bows, and bewitchment.
Oh, I see you have a full contingent already. Then I'll leave you be.
Keep distant. My own demons haunt me too closely. I cannot also bear the burden of yours.
You're back! Good to see you again. Of course. Told you I would, didn't I? Up to you. You know where I am if you think of anything.
Corbin, the Fletcher you rescued from Roost Anon at the Culwood Mills, sparks to life at the sight of you and breaks into a great grin.
Oh yeah? Oh, I mean, hey, how are you? All settled in myself? Can't tell you how glad I am to be here. And thank you for bringing me. I feel it, you know? I really do. By all means. Like to take a look at what I've been working on? Go on.
The little girl doesn't acknowledge your presence. She remains locked away somewhere deep within her own mind. The little girl doesn't...
Good to see you again. Marvelous ship you have here. Worthy of a king. My mission has a name. Adramalik. He is the fiend that possesses your friend Losa, but worry not. We'll find him, and we'll undo him. To the city of Arx we must go, where he disguises himself as Dr. Deva. She intrigues me greatly. I'd say it was brave of her to send Losa after a demon hunter, but bravery implies something to be feared. She's fearless. One eye is sun, one eye is moon. I wonder which half of her nature she yearns will prevail.
Well now, how's my favorite god?
Are you certain you want to dismiss your companion? Ifan claps you on the shoulder.
Not much of a landlubber, but we do my favourite thing in all the world. We sail. The Council of Seven awaits, lass. Though if we dally among the waves, you won't find me complaining. And then there's Justinia. I've got to get to Arx, and soon if I want to keep that death fog out of her hands.
Pray speak. The Council of the Seven and the powers of divinity call us. Let's heed them, shall we?
Oh, hey. Whatever it takes to get stronger. That's the only way we're going to survive.
Go on then. We should sail off into the sunset in search of the Nameless Isle. An idyllic enough spot, no doubt.
Just when I think this still, at least, do what you want. My people are... It's all pointless.
So? Ready to set sail when you are, Your Holiness. Fantastic. Now, on to the interesting part.
After many adventures, the party finally reached the place where Godwo can go to become divine. But more surprises and difficult choices awaited.
The Nameless Isle. And here I thought Malady was unimaginative. Still, it's what's on the inside that counts, isn't that right? And this is the place you're meant to become a god. I can't help but wonder exactly what you intend to do with such a power. I have no doubt about that, but do remember, you can do what's good for you, too. All things in balance, you know. You'll want to hurry now. Divinity is waiting, after all. Excellent question. Normally, this place ought only to be known to Godwoken, but judging by the ships burning in the bay, there's been a breach, let's call it. Regardless of who's on the island, all that matters is who ascends. Make sure that's you. The strongest will survive and ascend. I'm hardly an expert on the matter, but I'm smart enough to put 2 and 2 together. Where there is an ocean of source, there is a well for drawing from it. To rise to divinity, you probably need to take a gulp, though I'm sure it won't be that simple.
Gareth greets you warmly. He's oddly chipper. More chipper than you've ever seen him, and certainly more chipper than most people mourning dead loved ones.
I should thank you. I don't know what came over me. Praise Lucian, I had you to put me on the right track. I'm grateful for your kindness. I needed time to think. My parents led good lives. I'd rather celebrate them for the love they gave me than to wail over their loss. Besides, we have work to do. Once we anchor at the Nameless Isle, I'll scout ahead, see if I can help locate the Council and ease the way. I'll report to you on what I find. Nonsense. I just had to take time to renew my spirit. Lucian said, I will refresh the tired and satisfy the weary. Words as true today as when he said them.
Gareth offers his farewell and hums to himself. You recognize the tune, Blessed and Bold, a hymn praising Lucian.
Look at that island, Quercus. Covered in forest. A true forest. Can you smell it over the stink of the water? Millennia of mulch. Those woods are ancient. We're better to find a clue about the Great Acorn. Some of those trees could even date back to the first forest. The Knights of Dre will never find us here. A perfect sanctuary to pause and complete our research. There's no rest for the wicked, Quercus. And even less for those out to save the world, it seems. Somewhere on this ancient isle, there must be a clue that will help us stop the Acorn. We must tread carefully. I'm sure such a wonderland will be dangerous, but at least it should be free from the Knights of Dre. What would we do, Quercus? Why, we'd make them sorry they ever left their mothers' nests. Anyway, We have something for your new best friend.
The squirrel reaches out and hands you a piece of bark, covered in tiny, scratched handwriting.
Something I discovered in your lizard friend's basement. She won't miss it, but use it well. Our shield speaks, Quercus. Prick up your phantom ears. Ask away, shield. Indeed, Quercus.
Hello. This island is something else, huh? I'll bet I can find many interesting ingredients here. Up to you. You know where I am if you think of anything.
I can sense the raw powers of the source rippling through the air. The island, yonder. It is doom or destiny. Naught but the demon I'm hunting. A trivial task, really, compared to your current pursuits of divinity.
Jahan takes you by the arm, his voice a whisper.
By the by, do please remember the warning I gave you in the woods. Should Losa come close to divine ascension, you must act. You must kill her.
This place is turbulent. I can feel the ground quake and the seas boil. Be on your guard here. Tread carefully, my dear. Those are black ring banners that I spy on the shore. I studied the tablet that you so generously provided. It showed me everything I need to know about creating a functional Swornbreaker. Once I have that, I'll be free of the Covenant. And free to spend the rest of my days with Mahali. See those structures further inland? Remarkably like those from the caverns of the Black Pits, aren't they? Should you discover the parts needed for a sworn breaker, please bring them to me. I'll make it worth your while. Also, you will likely encounter sworn followers of the God King on that island, I suspect. I would avoid combat if possible. Death can be less than final for them, if the God King wills it.
Almira doesn't respond right away. Instead, she turns and gazes intently at the island. After a long moment, she finally speaks.
I sense a familiar presence. The Sallow Man. Yes. He's there somewhere. Likely commanding Black Ring forces. You should seek him out. He's a foul creature, but not opposed to cutting a deal. Beware his underlings, though. If they challenge your presence, pose as a thrall of mine, and you should gain safe passage. My name should still command respect among them.
Do what you must in this place, sorcerer. I don't want to linger a moment longer than necessary.
Quite a journey I've found myself on with you. Is this where it ends, I wonder? Dangers indeed. You can almost hear the sounds of battle when the wind shifts correctly. And where there's battle, there's bound to be mercenaries. Gleku Duma, the words of the lone wolves. No doubt my former comrades will have them in their employ. Speak their words, and you might pass. Speak their words, and you might pass. Consider it a token of my thanks for the assistance in retrieving Anathema. Pursuit of my interests has led me to fall in with some disreputable company in my time. For a short while, one such group was the Black Ring. I know, not something to be proud of, but they let me do as I wished, so desperate they were for aid after the Death Fog cut them down to size. A fine arrangement, until they started preaching about this God King and his infernal covenant.
He snorts derisively.
The last thing this world needs is another would-be god, and an army of fools willing to follow him. It's a sop to all the fools who think that someone will grant them power and immortality in return for loyalty. This God King has caused to make war with the Seven, and the Covenant is how he's gathered his army. They become sworn, as it was put to me, bound to serve, die, and be reborn for the God King for as long as he wishes. Then, at some ill-defined point in the future, they think they'll be rewarded. You should have seen them all, on their knees, worshipping a new tyrant just to spite 7 old ones. I got away from them while I still could. Unfortunately, Dallas was waiting to snatch me. There's a clue in the name. He's a god, or something that wants to be a god. Continue to march to the Seven's beat, and I'm sure you'll find out exactly what he is. They're all the same, you know. Tyrants, liars, carrion birds. The best thing would be for them all to destroy each other and leave the rest of us to live in peace. My efforts continue. I must admit it's quite an intricate piece to work with, even for someone like myself. I remain confident of success, though.
Expert warriors for hire, all seasoned in combat. They won't let you down.
don't look very divine to me. What are you waiting for?
Well, this place is, welcoming, isn't it? We should keep our eyes on the prize. Divinity.
Ifan claps you on the shoulder.
Ever strike you that life is just a series of islands? Like, you put down roots, something upends it all, and then you sail off and put roots down somewhere else. It's just islands, one after the other. Let me tell you a story about Justinia. I think we were, say, age 10 at the time. My pop was off who knows where, spreading his seed in that oh-so-charming manner of his. So let's just say the court had its hands full. There was a big reception one night. The ridiculous kind, where all the ladies wear dresses and all the men wear finery. Everyone looks starched. Everyone acts starched. So I decided to surprise all the noble farts at dinner. Snuck into the kitchen. They had a giant boar on a platter with an apple in its mouth. Longer than Lora herself, and not much fatter either. The cook put the lid on and set it down for the steward to take. And then I made my move. I dragged off that pig when no one was looking and stuffed it in a floor cupboard. Then I crawled onto the platter and pulled the lid up over me. Wasn't too long before the steward showed up and wheeled me into the banquet, none the wiser. You can't guess. Some stuffy duke yanks off the lid and good old beastie jumps out. Caused quite the stir. Queen wanted me gone, but little cousin Justinia, she had my back. Told Queen Lora it was all her idea, and she got a whooping on her backside and sent to bed without supper. So the point is, well, I ain't sure. I guess that she has a good heart, but somewhere along the way it got soiled. Forward. I know it's probably not the answer you wanted. I can't think of much else to say about it. Weird, right? One of us will ascend soon, and, well, there's only one divinity. We've got choices to make. We can't put him off forever.
Yes, by all means, let us partake in the art of conversation. It's most intriguing. A message from the House of Shadows. The ones who so fruitlessly sent assassins after my good self. Well, first, I will hear the man out. If he can lead me to Sadher, well, I can spare my ears a moment or two for that. Besides, only polite, I always say, to hear a man out before beheading him. What house? Ha! A peculiar query. But very well, I'm no stranger to parlor games. Let's see. From what I gather, you've a certain martial quality about you. A desire for conquest, for victory won by the blade. There can be no doubt that would place you in the esteemed House of War. Congratulations. Don't get your hopes up. We don't adopt. Surely it's obvious. Ascension awaits. Once we manage to gain access to the actual Well of Ascension. That is not to say I'm not dying to have a word with the House of Shadows.
Well, this all looks familiar. It certainly has that air to it, but I would make a terrible guide. Whatever place this once was, it was destroyed long before your time. We must access the Council of Seven. But let's be careful. Despite appearances, I have survived a lot. I would rather not experience death here.
There's no time to waste. And I remember saying I'd probably never tell you. Then again, why not? I suppose some stories were always meant to be told. So, here goes. No, hang on.
She retrieves a small flask from her backpack, uncorks it, and takes a big swig. Tears stream from her eyes as she offers you the flask.
They're tears of joy, I assure you. Here, have some joy.
You drink. It burns. Soon the tears run down your cheeks as well.
Not bad, is it? So good it has us crying like babies. Now then, the epic of The Master and the Scar. Sounds like a melodramatic opera. There was, of course, some singing involved. It began when I woke in the dark room. He removed my blindfold, and still I did not see. He himself was darker than any shadow, but I could hear him give orders to another. Stingtail. How he came to regret the actions he performed that day. The Master bid the dream a dream, and so he did. He sat there. I could feel his hands upon my cheeks. He trembled, as if in pain. I didn't know what was going on until quite suddenly, his right hand became a flame. I screamed as he traced the design of the scar into my searing flesh, but I could not move, not an inch. And all the while, the Master looked on in darkest silence. Like I said before, didn't exactly feel like a kiss. So, once the scarring was over, and the pain began to fade, the training began. With words, whistles, snaps of the fingers even, the Master could make me obey his every command. Young, strong, smart. You know I don't exactly lack in qualities. Didn't take him long to train me in the arts of stealth, subterfuge, and assassination. It shakes me little now, all too little. But that first time, that first real kill, it was such stuff as nightmares are made on. I had now lived in the dark for what might as well have been years.
I was in a wood, but the trees there were sick. Grey, leafless hydras sticking out of ashen earth. There were no stars that night. She sat, shivering beside a fire. I was nervous. I had to chase her. My hand hated itself, tried to resist, but there is no resisting the Master's song. My stabs weren't as mercifully exact as they should have been. I had to bring down the needle again and again as her screams flooded the forest with terror. When it was done, I crawled back to the Master, broken, crept back into the box, and through its cold black lid, he told me I had done well. Next time, I'd do better. You understand me completely. With the needle, I'll kill him. And with the needle, I'll strike his name from my skin. The bastard will be master no longer. The very best.
She cocks her head ever so slightly and eyes you as innocently as a kitten.
Why? Don't tell me you disagree. Thank you. I quite agree, and I'm sure I'll have mercy on you when I'm a goddess. You, but a mortal at my feet. In all seriousness, though, the prospect both tickles and terrifies me. I mean, divinity. Will it be a blessing or a burden? Would we be truly omnipotent, or merely the servants of an unruly universe, as desperate for control as we are now? And then there's the question that makes me shiver most of all. Would we still be ourselves? Would I remain Sibyl, or would my mortal soul die upon gaining divine immortality? Take the plunge and don't look back, huh? As good a plan as any, I presume.
She sighs and closes her eyes, then smiles her easy smile.
Such a silly game we play, to be a god. It's quite wasted on mortals, if you ask me. We are all of us too blemished to become immaculate. I think you know the answer to that. First, I'll find the Master. He has a date with a needle. Whatever comes after that, comes after that.
Lohse looks pale and unfocused. She doesn't meet your eyes.
Yes! I'm fine.
Well, this place is, welcoming, isn't it? I saw the mass death caused by the Divine Order's war firsthand. If Divinity can do the opposite of that, I'm interested. And if it can't, what good is it? You're right. The gods may be dead, but we still live. That has to mean something.
Ifan shrugs and turns to survey the environment, squinting into the distance.
I think we should find out what it is.
Ifan claps you on the shoulder.
Ever strike you that life is just a series of islands? Like, you think I want to be the head of the Order? All I care about is dealing with that royal arse pain, and a Divine sure as hell would be capable of doing just that. I ain't thought beyond there, and I ain't gonna prime that pump till I have to. I know I'm fumbling along here. I know the ways of royalty and the ways of piracy, but I know shite about divinity. All these people looking to guide me, and I'm still no sure how one divines or whatever. But hey, you make good fumbling company.
Beast looks left, then right, then down, unsure if his compliment hit its mark. Beast flashes a relieved grin and absent-mindedly begins to twist 3 strands of beard hair into a braid.
Oh, how big.
I've got sword fighters, mages, archers, all willing to fight by your side.
Do what you must in this place, sorcerer. I don't want to linger a moment longer than necessary.
Bodies have been purged.
Who could have done this?
I suspect we shall soon find out.
Magister, dead on the beach. What a surprise.
The seaside doesn't suit them, does it?
I'd fancy a swim.
You need a bath. Black Ring. Could they be doing the purging?
The plot thinnens.
I've never seen ruins like these.
You don't get out much, do you?
As if from nowhere, a sweating warrior appears before you.
You were late, Bonebag. The Divine Order pigs be here at the temple. Kill him.
He points you towards the nearby temple, where a skirmish continues.
You have your orders. Get to it. You were with the God King, or you were against. There's no standing back here and now. Which is it, scum?
Comprehension spreads across his face, and he bares his teeth.
I fear not death, that I shall have eternal life. You should fear your own demise, for you it is your end.
thanks for your help. But who are you? Fine. I won't shun you allies. Not after the amount of casualties we've taken. Here. Let me give you some advice. It might save your life like you saved mine. If you need shelter, look for the Bishop and the rest of my comrades. They retreated north to our rendezvous point. We'll head there once we've tended to our fallen. Our true leader has returned and united us. It's nothing short of a miracle he's made it this far. He's dodged assassins more than once. Now it's our holy duty to safeguard him until he becomes the next divine. And that means putting these black ring devils to the sword. Isn't it bloody obvious? They're destroying the sacred temples and killing everyone in sight. If I were you, I'd get out of the open as soon as possible.
You frown with surprise. Alexander vanished along with all the others when the Lady Vengeance breached the Hall of Echoes. You assumed he was dead.
If he still thinks he's the one that will replace Daddy Dearest, he's in for a surprise.
I've got questions for him, and he'd better have answers, or his second death will be even more painful than the first.
Cutting him down a second time will be even more satisfying than the first. And this time, it'll be permanent.
Perhaps I have misjudged humans. Alexander seems as immortal as I.
Has as many lives as a cat, it seems. Let's see if he acts like one when cornered.
Oh, won't he be ever so happy to see us? This is going to be extra fun.
So few of us are left. A direct attack against the Black Ring would be suicide. I hope the Bishop has something else in mind.
The spirit of a woman in strange armor stands before you. Visible on her breastplate is the seal of Rallic. She casts an imperious eye over you.
Godwoken, you're late. The world bleeds while you dawdle. Linger no more. The trials await. Because I was the same as you once. A Godwoken.
She looks you over once again. The judgmental arch of her eyebrows suggests you're less than she had hoped for.
Perhaps not exactly like you, but I heard the call and came here to face the trials of the gods. I was not chosen for divinity. Instead, I became a guardian of this temple, a Knight of Rallick. The Black Ring ended my vigil. They came, intent on destroying this place. I fought them off as long as I could, but there were too many. There was a reluctance in my heart, a lingering doubt. To be divine is to shoulder a great responsibility. Deep down, I didn't want that responsibility for myself. The gods must have sensed my unwillingness. Still, I wanted to serve them. I became a Knight of Rallick that day. The altars shall show the way, but only to those deemed worthy. Bow and pray to each altar. The way may be revealed to you then. Or it may not. If the gods do not choose you to progress, then you'll likely share my fate. Make haste then. The Void's power is growing. It must be stopped.
The altar stands before you, flecked with moss and the cracks of age. An ant crawls across the surface, dipping in and out of the inscription that's engraved on the rock. In honor of Rallick, first of the gods and patron of humanity. As your prayer drifts away on the breeze, you feel the world around you shift. You open your eyes to a courtyard with wooden targets and practice posts scattered about. A man stands in the center of the court, his face turned towards the sun, his eyes wide open. He's old, grey hair matted against his skin, but you still recognize him, Rallick. He doesn't look over as you approach. It's only when you're standing right beside him that you see that his eyes are clouded and grey as his hair. He is completely blind.
Go, Godwoken. Find the Well of Ascension. Do your duty.
The vision fades, and you stand once more in the shadow-speckled glade of Rallick's temple. Looking down at the altar, you see a faded symbol for the sun carved into the rock. The altar stands before you, silent and still, an image of the sun engraved on its top. A bird flits by, snatching an ant from its surface.
Time is short, Godwoken. The council awaits.
My thanks to you and your friends. I had never died before. I felt so much pain, so much fear. It was delicious. A shame I shall not taste death again once my lord returns. But when he does, you will beg for the sweet aroma of death. Oh no, there you are quite mistaken. I have already taken his covenant, and he rewards his loyal followers. Do not fear. I will return. We shall all return. It is the God King's will. What? No. No, you can't. I am to be reborn. I am his favorite. Get back. Get back, I command you.
The spirit turns to run, but he's already yours. He starts to fade as his power begins to flow into your veins.
No, you can't. I was promised eternity. Please. Please.
White-hot pain, fangs sinking into you. A magister appears and offers her hand. You reach for it, but there's a loud snarl. Warm blood soaks you. Then, darkness.
Black Ring. I thought they were a spent force.